Welcome to a brief tour of the Visual KPI user interface. I'm just going to walk through some of the key elements that appear on most screens throughout Visual KPI, giving you a sense for what types of data you can look at, what visual elements you'll see, and how to navigate. I'm looking at a web browser on the left. That could be any web browser. I'm looking at a smartphone on the right, but that could be any smartphone or tablet or any other web-connected device. I'll start with the browser on the left and again just cover some of the key elements. At the top you see just some informational things like the timestamp. On the left you have the Visual KPI logo, but that could be replaced with your own logo, and you can even change the background color to white if your logo looks better on white. Below that we have some navigational elements. So first, a line of breadcrumbs, which is hard to see on the browser because I'm on the home screen, but on the mobile device you can see I've drilled in one level. Below that you have the tabs, and tabs are very important to the navigation. They show you what type of data you're looking at, and probably the most important concept to understand is that of groups, or the tab on the left. Groups are containers, and they can contain other groups, giving you unlimited levels of drill down into your assets or your data or your hierarchy. And then they can also contain KPIs, values, trends, and links. So a very important concept. Below the tabs you see a bar filled with icons or buttons, and I'll break those into three different categories, but overall they are how you view your data. On the left you have this filter icon, and on the mobile device you have a filter and this gears icon, and these are what I would categorize as lightweight analytics, or the ability to pivot or sort or group or filter your information so that you can look at only the things that are relevant, such as turning off all of the good KPIs because you know there's no problems there, and let me see only the things that actually have an issue going on with them. The next two icons are expand and collapse, and we would call those the state of the data you're looking at. Whether you want to, in this case on the browser, I'm looking at the top level groups, and I could expand that, and that would show me all of those groups plus all of their children in my hierarchy. So a way for me to expand and see where things live in my hierarchy, depending on how many I have. And then the third category of buttons, and you'll notice all these buttons change based on what screen you're looking at. It could be a different set. Those are the views. And so on the left I'm looking at a list view noted by the green icon here. On the right I'm looking at a KPI map icon. It could be a bar chart. It could be other types. Again, it depends on where I'm at in the application and what type of data I'm looking at. So below that icon bar is the main body of content. That is where your groups and where your data lives and where you interact with it. All of it is clickable. You can drill in either through the name or through the content on the right. And even on the far right you see these little arrows. Those allow you to go into much more detail about what you're looking at. So I can get on the left a view of the detail of the group that I'm looking at, or on the right if I click detail I'd get the detail about that KPI, which is quite a bit of information. So below the body I have the legend, and the legend, like most features in the application, can be turned on or off, and this tells me what color represents what state for a particular KPI in this case. And the colors are all configurable, so you can change those, etc. And then the last part at the bottom, I'll break it into two categories. On the left is refresh, and this I can set it up to do automatic refresh or leave it manual. I'll turn on automatic refresh so you can see, and of course that's configurable. I could make it 30 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever amount of time I want. And then on the right are all the system-wide things that I can do, like pull up an ad hoc value from one of my data sources, or create a trend on the fly with multiple pens so that I can compare some values if it hasn't already been set up for me in the system. I can search the entire site or the entire application for particular KPIs or particular values or whatever type of data I want. I can share whatever screen I'm looking at, which gives me the ability to send a link without any data in it, so very securely share the information with one of my colleagues. And lastly is the information icon, or sort of the about box, which tells you a lot of detail about the entire application, such as what version I'm running, what device I'm using, and a lot more information. So that's a brief overview of the Visual KPI user interface. I hope you enjoyed it.